What's up, everybody? Welcome to In Love with Horror. I'm AJ.
And I'm Christy.
And y'all, this is our live horror news roundup. This is the live news show that we do every Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, where we talk about all the horror movie, horror TV show, horror game news. You know, the big stuff that dropped over the course of the last week. We round it all up here on this Sunday live show to talk about it. So if you're currently in the live chat, thank you so much for joining us live. If you're watching the replay or if you're over on Spotify or Apple Podcasts listening to the audio form of this, thank you for joining us on those platforms as well. We appreciate all of you. It wasn't like a super big horror news week in terms of like the scale of the news. You know, obviously we do have some things to talk about, but it definitely wasn't a week where like, you know, like hot things was dropping or anything like that. I don't know if you want to give it some time to let people to join up or what.
You can go ahead.
Just want to roll with it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. All right, well, we'll go ahead and get started with the news, y'all. Again, thank you for joining us, and let's jump into the news with the first one being all about Longlegs, y'all. So Longlegs right now, at the time of this recording, has a 100% critic rating, right?
Yep.
Over on Rotten Tomatoes, which whenever that happens, that's monumental, right? When it's 100%. And I didn't pull up. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up real quick too to see like how many reviews, because I'm actually curious like how many reviews are there on there to make it 100%.
Hey Anthony, thanks for tuning in. Happy Interview with the Vampire finale day. I know I'm so sad that it's almost over. It's really sad. That's a really good show.
I don't think that one made it to the chat. So.
It hasn't. It's up there now.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I'm really sad about that. It seems like it wasn't that long. I need more episodes.
All right, so I was able to pull it up. So Longlegs is sitting at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes with 11 reviews. So that's not a lot,
yeah.
But it's still, those 11 people, they all said it was super dope. Now, of course, quite a few people have already seen this movie because there's been a lot of different screenings and things like that. So even some just, you know, casual audience members have been able to see this film early. But everyone who's seen it has been saying, like, this movie is on a different level. Like, it's really good. And so I pulled up two different tweets here that Christy wanted to summarize. So we got one here from Matt Neglia over at Next Best Picture. Did you want to kind of summarize what he was saying about this movie?
Well, a couple of things in this one. Longlegs is one of the best serial killer films in recent memory. And that Micah Monroe and Nicolas Cage are phenomenal, with the former barely keeping it together under intense emotional distress. Like, I saw where someone were talking about her on set. I think she did an interview, and she was like, when she first saw Nicolas Cage, like, she literally was like, her body was shaking because of seeing him. And I'm like, I didn't even realize that he was going to be like, you know, how his look was going to be. So we haven't watched any trailers. Yeah, I don't think they've shown him in any trailers either. But either way, she had a physical response to seeing him in real life for the first time after he got into his makeup. So I thought that was really crazy.
Yeah, I didn't know because, like you said, we haven't seen no images or nothing.
No,
like that, or trailers.
Which
so I didn't know he had.
So glad they're doing that.
I didn't know he had like a certain
like a
look.
Yeah,
I thought he was just gonna look regular
like
and just be crazy.
Right,
yeah.
Exactly. Critic After Dark. I'm so excited for Longlegs. Micah and Cage should be amazing. Yeah. So according to this tweet, they're going to be really, really good. And the latter delivers a disturbing but controlled performance that stays consistent with Perkins's chilling tone. So that to me is like, ooh, this is exactly what, you know, they've been, you know, teasing at it being. Yep. So that makes it really, really exciting. Nonstop report. Can't wait for Longlegs. Thinking it'll be on the level of Prisoners, Zodiac as far as quality of film, and hopefully with much more horror thrown in. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. It seems, even though there's only 11 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, there's a lot more reviews on Letterboxd and, you know, stuff I've seen on Twitter. So there's a lot of people have seen it and they've all gave it really good reviews.
Yeah. And then, so we just pulled up another tweet here. Now this one is from Neon, the studio that's releasing Longlegs. They they posted this tweet here, which was a review over on Letterboxd. Did you want to talk about
I thought this one was really funny because someone asked this person, or they tweeted asking if they should take like an edible before watching the movie.
They tweeted to who?
just go, if you scroll down, it'll just a regular tweet. It's like, do you think it's a good idea to get high and before watching Longlegs? And so this person tweeted, and Neon retweeted it, reposted it. But anyway, he's like, worth noting that the dude next to me, maybe 19 out of 20, very high, was freaking the F out on the entire time. And I really felt bad for him. He was trembling, breathing heavy, rocking in his seat and covering his eyes. I could just feel the regret in his decision to take an edible before watching this in a theater with speakers so loud your whole body is vibrating. I thought it was so hilarious.
Yeah, so that being said,
don't do that.
Yeah, this might not be the movie you want to watch high. That's especially for for a horror film. I feel like that's something that you'd want to avoid.
Well, some people like to do that. It's like to chill out, I
feel like it would just make you even more paranoid. But
click the Beyond Fest one.
Okay, hold on. Give me a second here to get that up on here.
No problem. And I thought this one gives a little bit more.
Okay, we got a tweet up here from Beyond Fest talking about the Longlegs movie.
Yeah, so this one was like, Longlegs is a film that shouldn't exist. The absence of cheap gore and jump scares makes way for something infinitely more shocking and sinister than anything we've seen in a long time. Now, he says from the opening shot, it sets the tone so evil is impossible to shake. But I've seen some other Letterboxd reviews that talk about from the opening to the ending, it's just consistently creepy and like sinister the whole way through. Like there's never like a moment of, sometimes you have those pacing issues, right? Things kind of slow down. It's not really interesting and engaging. But a lot of people have said across the board, there's nothing like that in this film at all.
So here's my question then, and this is kind of a question to our people in the live chat and to our listeners on the replay as well. Has anyone that you know that is like, I'm gonna use the word desensitized, you know what I'm saying? Like desensitized to horror, where like let's say someone like me, right? Where like you might be like, oh, this movie is so sinister, and I'm like,
yeah,
is it?
That's true.
Have you seen any reviews? And for this question for you, Christy, and for the audience members as well, has anyone seen any reviews from like super horror people saying similar verbiage of like, oh, this movie is terrifying, it's scary, it's sinister? Because it's getting hyped up right now, and now I'm nervous. Like
scary, I haven't gotten that, but I will say that there has not been a lot of people, which is understandable, that that I know or talk to or whatever, that have gotten access to see this movie. Only one person, and that's Elaine from Deep Red Perfect Blue.
Okay, yeah.
And she gave it 5 stars.
Yeah.
And I know she watches a lot of horror, so that's the only person I know personally that has seen the movie. And she gave it 5 stars, and it was
sinister tone and all stuff. Okay. Well, I mean, okay, that's cool. I mean, it could definitely still have a sinister tone and then not be scary. It's just the subject matter is.
I think that's what it is.
Right. The subject matter is what makes it so evil in a sense.
Also, another question: has anybody gone to the website? Because we haven't. But I would like to go on there, because I think there's some like stuff like decoding and stuff like that you can do on there.
Oh, okay.
I think that'd be interesting.
They did that in the early marketing too, like you have to decode stuff.
Yeah. But hey, Mike, thanks for tuning in.
Oh, what's up, Mike? But yeah, I'm always nervous when like a lot of reviews are coming out and it's all like insanely positive. Obviously, it makes me nervous because now my expectation slowly keeps creeping up.
But Elaine, she did do a TikTok about that, right? She was like, she's like that too. Like people overhype stuff, and then you go get disappointed. But she was like, this isn't being overhyped.
Oh, that's good.
But she's also been like a super invested fan since the early marketing came out. So I don't know. Yeah, I guess we just have to wait and see.
I just hope it delivers.
I think it will. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful about this one.
When it's like something is super massively overhyped, like it won't hit. Obviously, there's exceptions like Dune 2, right? That got hyped, and then I saw that and I was like, oh my god! Like my expectations was here, and then we'd even pass that. You know what I'm saying? So like, hopefully, Longlegs can be at that level of like, okay, there's so much good stuff being said. Now my expectation is stupid high. Yeah. And then it could even hopefully still go past that. But I'm excited to hear What?
Mike.
Oh, yeah.
In a Violent Nature, cough, cough.
Yeah, so Mike said, yeah, In a Violent Nature, cough, cough. And I agree. That is
Yeah.
one that was being
super overhyped.
Super hyped. And then we saw it. Now we're like, really? Like,
Yeah.
it's not like it's a bad, personally, I don't think it's a bad movie. I just think it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It definitely wasn't worth the hype.
Yeah, definitely not. And even the, because, you're hearing all these things about the kills for In a Violent Nature being like, oh, these kills are insane, so extreme.
Yeah.
There's only like maybe
one.
2.
Okay, I'll give you 2.
I'll give it 2 that were like,
one.
oh, damn, like this shit is crazy. But other than those 2, I was like, this. But Mike, that's a good example. In a Violent Nature was one that was really hyped in the horror space and just did not deliver on the hype. But I'm hoping Longlegs will. And like I was about to say, I'm excited that there's a mainstream movie that's coming out horror wise that has that super sinister, unnerving, terrifying vibe to it. Because me, one of my favorite films is Sinister, and that has that tone to it because those tapes are just so extreme. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that there's another mainstream movie that's coming out. Obviously, there's a lot of underground or straight to streaming stuff that's extreme. We kind of got a little bit of extremeness with First Omen with some of those scenes that are in there. So I'm glad that there's another film that's mainstream in the theater taking the super extra approach. I'm all about it.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that.
Yep.
I think from what I can tell, it seems like it might be on the kind of same wavelength as Sinister was. As far as like,
the vibes.
Of it.
Yeah, I'm with it. Has anyone said anything about the audio? I'm curious to see what the sound and the
baby, no
audio composition.
No one said
like.
anything about no audio.
Sinister got creepy ass like music and sounds. I wonder if Longlegs had it. Probably does. That adds to the whole package of something being terrifying. But I'm even more hyped to see this one. We're only like 2 weeks away now, week and a half away from seeing this. So
yeah,
super excited about this one.
Critic After Dark says Sinister was definitely my top 5 of the 2010s. Yeah, that's AJ's movie right there.
Man, that's like one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I love Sinister. It's such a great rewatch.
It is.
It's still super like creepy and unnerving when you watch it. It's just it's an effective movie. It does its job really good. But yeah, that's it for this first story where we want to talk about Longlegs is about to come out. It's getting extremely positive reviews. It's getting really hyped up.
It's still a ways off. It doesn't come out till like what, July 12th?
It's like July tomorrow. So
yeah, but still
like
12 days. That's 2 whole weeks.
Yeah, I mean, but like 2 weeks.
I just feel like we've been waiting for this movie forever.
Hey, 2 weeks is a lot less than a month, 2
well,
months,
yeah.
3 months. You know what I'm saying? So like
we're closing
We're
in.
very close.
But I guess it's because I'm just so hyped to see it. I'm like, ugh, I'm ready.
Right. But y'all let us know for our listeners live and on the replay. How excited are you for Longlegs? You're hearing all this positive shit being talked about for this movie. Are you getting really hyped? Are you getting nervous because you're getting too hyped? Let us know your thoughts about Longlegs in the comments in the chat. All right, so let's go ahead and jump to our next topic, y'all. And this is all about A Quiet Place Day One, which had a massive box office. So this is coming from Deadline. A Quiet Place Day One easily scares up $53 million for a franchise opening record.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to point out, because we got the article up on the screen for our listeners, that Inside Out 2 still was number one with 56 million, which is great. Like, for anyone who was like doubting the box office and people going to the movies, Inside Out 2 is making stupid money.
Yeah.
This is like what? Yeah, this is its third number one weekend. With like, damn, like that's crazy. Obviously not a whole lot of competition, but still. But even in the midst of that, think about this right now. Put this into perspective. Inside Out 2 still made 56, and then Quiet Place Day 1 made 53.
Right.
People were going to the movies this weekend.
No gaps.
But congrats to Quiet Place Day 1 scaring up 53 million. That's big numbers, especially for not only the franchise, but just a horror movie, a horror-esque movie in general.
Mm-hmm.
Now, were you able to look up if this is the biggest opening for a horror movie so far?
I thought you were doing that. Sorry. Keep talking. Okay. I'll look it up.
She's going to look that up because now I'm curious if this is the biggest box office for horror movies because 53 million is insane. I can't think of any other movie that was, you know, in the horror genre that did that, you know, did those kind of numbers. But anyway, we did an out of theater reaction for this one. We didn't have the chance to put up like a full review on this one. We've just been so busy. But if you haven't seen our out of theater reaction, we actually really enjoyed this movie a lot. It was super effective in terms of the like suspense that you expect from the franchise. Like, you know, for both films, when you have a movie that's so quiet, like it naturally builds anxiety and suspense. And this movie was really no different in terms of those moments. It also had the big spectacle moments. You know, this is day one. So that, you know, those creatures arriving on the planet and just causing chaos and havoc and all that good stuff. That was all there. But then you still had a very, you know, close, emotional, connective story with these characters. And I feel like that's very important for a movie like this. And it was there. I think some people's concern was like, oh, this is just going to be like a, you know, a big spectacle movie and not have that, you know, that personal connection with the characters. But it's all here. And the story, these characters' arcs, they're super engaging. You get really invested with these characters. I mean, you might even shed a little tear. I know, you know, Christy was crying by the end of this movie. Because it is it's a very touching story.
Yeah.
But they executed everything on this so good. Like, this was another fantastic entry in this franchise. It was honestly an excellent film. How'd you feel about it?
Yeah, no, it was really good. I know a lot of people had some issues with the pacing, but I didn't. I thought it was well paced. I mean, I know you also had a little moment where it kind of slowed down for you. But I don't know. I was just really invested in these characters, especially Lupita's character. You know, if you watch the movie, you know why. I just think it was just so different for me. You know, like usually we see people are, you know, trying to escape and trying to get out. But, you know, her story was completely different. Her motivation was completely different. So I was just like really invested in seeing these two characters together too. But yeah. And I was rooting to see if this cat was gonna make it off the island or not.
We're not gonna spoil it because you gotta watch the movie and learn if this cat makes it or not. But I do agree, and I also I thought her motivations made sense to me. I know I saw some people. Oh, like really? That's what she's doing? It's like that kind of makes sense. It makes sense to me too. If you're in that position, you're not really caring about certain shit. You're just trying to, you know, maybe experience certain things that you want to experience.
Mm-hmm.
But. Damn, I had a thought I wanted to add. Oh, the pacing. Yes, there was one moment in this film where I did feel like it slowed down, but that was just one time. So I wouldn't call that too much of a pacing issue if you only had one moment.
Yeah.
So I thought it was just fine.
But yes, this is the highest opening for a horror movie in 2024.
Boom.
Before that, it was Strangers Chapter 1 that had 11. That was the highest opening at 11. Night Swim was a little bit less than 11. But other than that, this is definitely the highest opening.
Dang, that's awesome. Yeah. Yep. Well, I'm hoping that it can keep that same momentum going into the next weekend. You know, I feel like it's having good word of mouth, so we'll see if
I think that's what it is, right? Like
we'll see if it keeps up that way. But yeah, this was a great film. Great.
Also, it's summertime. I feel like the summer box office I was gonna, you know, increase a little bit too, because there were some parents with their kids up at the theater that day we went.
That was super strange. So there was quite a few kids in our show, and I'm like, this is when you're bringing your kids to.
Look, the school is out. They got to come with me to the movies.
There was some, like, I'm talking like some like small kids.
Yeah, it was small kids.
They look like 4 or 5 years old. And I'm like, they wanted to see this one.
But I will say, generally, they wasn't like loud. They were only a couple.
Yeah, they actually.
Noises, so that was good.
Yeah, they're pretty well behaved, honestly. We definitely can bring our kids to something like this.
Well, we couldn't bring our smallest one for sure, but definitely,
our kids would be way too scared to watch something like this.
Yeah.
So I was
surprised.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was like, what the? We saw them walking across like.
Well, not everybody's kids are scary like ours are.
That's true. Yeah, so they could probably handle it. But hey, they got to see a good movie and some great performances and Quiet Place Day One. If you haven't seen it, I recommend you go check it out in the theater. We watched it in IMAX. I definitely feel like this is one of those films that works really well.
Yeah, I agree.
In a theater setting because like the sound and the visuals and all that. So Go check that out. For our viewers and listeners, let us know, have you seen A Quiet Place Day One? What did you think about it? Where do you think this ranks in the franchise? I know you haven't seen A Quiet Place 2.
Right. Well, yeah, but
even then, I highly doubt that you would put that above. You'd put that above this. So let us know, where do you rank A Quiet Place Day One in the franchise? So with that, let's go ahead and jump into the next topic that we want to talk about, and it's all about a new A24 film. This is coming from Deadline, and A24 lands horror spec Mice from Todd Spence and Zach White, with David Bruckner directing. I
really like this story because
go ahead.
The writers Todd Spence and Zach White, this is their first script sale, major script sale, and I was like, oh, that's super cool, and they get to give it to someone like David Bruckner to see him direct their film. I thought that was like super dope.
Yeah, you're right. And the article did mention that and I'm just gonna read from the article here, like you said. Todd Spence and Zach White pinned the script, and the spec marks their first sale to a major studio. Quite the sale for first-time scribes.
That's insane.
That's an inspiring story.
It is.
So for all the writers out there, and you got a great idea in your head, and you can write, hey, put them fingers on them keys or pen to the paper, however you want to do it.
Yeah.
Hey, get that script out there and start getting it prepped to, potentially sell to someone like A24.
Yeah.
And then they get David Bruckner, who did films like The Ritual, The Night House. What was the other one? Let me scroll down. There was another one that I know I'm forgetting. Oh, Hellraiser. Wow, what was the other one? I thought that movie was okay. I know you liked it a lot.
I love that one.
It's not a bad take on it at all. It just wasn't like a super fan of it.
Because that was good.
But I really liked The Ritual. That was that Netflix one.
The Ritual was
super
good.
cool.
That would be a good summer watch too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it would be. Yeah. So it's dope that David Bruckner is bringing this film to us with A24 backing this movie. Now, all we know is that it's in the genre of horror thriller. They did not release any other, log line, no plot information, nothing. So we have no idea what Mice is about. But it must be really good. And maybe it's one of those things where they'll keep it heavily under wraps, because maybe the story is very unique and very creative. They kind of want to keep it to themselves. Because it could be one of those things, where it's like someone hears about this, oh, shit, that's a great idea. You know what I'm saying? And they make their version of it, or the case may be. But this is just a cool story. A24, of course, they're always, taking on the more interesting or creative horror type of projects. So I'm excited to see what this is, especially for them to be first-time scribes.
I know.
They must have created something
really
real
good.
special. Yeah. And that makes me really curious, what is this thing? And then for them to look at David Bruckner, who's directed a lot of kind of interesting, creative, visually type of movies, and they we got to pick this guy for it. I feel like it's definitely offering something unique, even in the visual department. So it's an exciting story. Nothing much more to say about this, but just know that David Bruckner's got a new film coming out under A24. And once they start dropping more information, like synopsis or images or whatever,
we'll be on it.
You best believe we'll be there, and we will let y'all know. But drop down in the comments if y'all excited for this one. Did you like any of Bruckner's previous films, like The Ritual, Night House? Of course, he also was the architect for the VHS franchise as well. But that's dope, and congrats to Todd Spence and Zach White for getting their first big script, selling to a major studio. Damn,
that's
congrats
crazy.
to them. But with that, let's go ahead and jump into the next story, which is also our title and thumbnail story as well. And that's all about Van Helsing, y'all. So apparently there's a new Van Helsing series in the works at CBS from Jonathan Lee, Rob Dougherty, Carl Beverly, and Sarah Timberman. We're reading this from Deadline, y'all. But just a little tidbits about it. The first thing is this is going to be present day. So it's not going to be back in the day or whatever. So let me read you what they're saying this series will be all about. And it reads, the series is a contemporary take on the monster hunter, Dr. Abraham Van Helsing, who uses his uniquely inquisitive mind working alongside his relentless FBI special agent, Mina Harker, to solve New York City's most harrowing cases. And Jonathan Lee, who did Lockerbie, is writing, and Rob Dougherty, who worked on Elementary, is producing. This is interesting.
It's very interesting.
The first thing I thought about when I heard this was the Grimm show.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was a police officer, and it dealt with folktale, fairy tale creatures and stuff like that. So that's the first thing that jumped to my mind, because I'm sure we'll deal with
mine was Fringe. I feel like
creatures and stuff. Okay, yeah, Fringe works too.
This recipe has been done a lot of times.
It's been done a whole lot.
Yeah.
And I get that they want to make a procedural show, because those do really good. This is coming to us from CBS, right?
Yeah.
So they know all about procedurals. They know that people tune in for those every week.
Yeah.
To see what's this week's case. You know what I'm saying? So I get it, but it's damn, we could have made this one a little bit more special. Maybe they'll keep it very supernatural-esque in terms of the weird stuff you see.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe they will keep it really weird and have a really good story and concept to it. My question would be, what's the history of this? Did his ancestor Van Helsing already fight Dracula? You know what I'm saying? Or will we see a version of Dracula, in this, procedural show?
Yeah.
Building up to a big bad, or what's the overarching through line for the show? Because you got to have that main plot line, and then your week by week cases. But I don't know this. I don't know how I feel about it. What do you
I'm
think?
like you. I don't know how I feel about it either. I'm because I said, I just kind of, when I read this, I instantly think about stuff we've already seen, and they're just plugging in this Van Helsing name. So I'm interested in seeing what kind of lore they'll rope into it. Yeah. So
no, I'm with you on that. And even if you were watching this on YouTube, you see for the thumbnail, I use the Hugh Jackman movie, because I love that movie.
I do too.
That movie is so dope. In fact, I haven't watched it in a while, so I'd love to rewatch that. I would love to rewatch that, but man, I love that movie to death. It also had a PS2 game that came out alongside it, I think. I don't know if they came out at the exact same time, but I know they've made a movie tie-in game that was super dope. That was a fun game to play. But Van Helsing, the Hugh Jackman one, is just a classic 2000s era film. 2000s era horror action film, because we don't really get a lot of those really anymore that I could think of. The Van Helsings and the Blades and stuff like that. But you know what? All that to say, I'm still excited to see what they can do with this. Maybe it'll come out good. You got to be optimistic.
Gotta be.
Right? You got to be optimistic. So that's kind of where we're sitting on this, y'all. Y'all let us know in the chat, in the comments.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, what are your thoughts on this Van Helsing TV series? Or, does that writer do it for you? I'm not familiar with that show. I think it's about to come out, Lockerbie. I don't know anything about that, so I can't even speak to, who's helping make this thing. But y'all let us know. What are you thinking about this? How do you feel about it? Do you think they could pull off something cool? And what are some of the ideas that you hope to see made in this series? So let's go ahead and jump into our next story here that we want to talk about. And this is all about the Pooniverse, y'all. We got Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. We got an official poster for this film. Let me see if I can find the poster in here. You're probably not going to be able to see the whole thing, but for our listeners, I got the poster up on the screen. The poster looks cool. It's got that realistic cartoonish feel to it, and it says at the top, he's every parent's worst nightmare, Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. And we were really big fans of Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2.
Yeah.
That movie was just a lot of fun. So much inspiration from a lot of the different iconic 80s horror villains. The kills were dope. It was just one of those fun popcorn horror movies that was just really effective, and it told a better story than the first one. So we really enjoyed it. So now all these different Pooniverse films that are coming out, we're very excited for it. Now, just to add additional context to the story, y'all, I'll read some of the excerpts from the article here from Bloody Disgusting. A couple of things that it says is Scott Jeffrey says this is tonally an extremely darker film to Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey. That already is crazy to say tonally darker, because Blood and Honey 2 was pretty dark. But
well, I think maybe because this one deals with kids.
Okay, yeah, that makes
That's
sense.
what I'm
Anything
assuming.
involving kids is always gonna
Be darker. Yeah.
And the article continues talking about what Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare is about. It reads, it follows Wendy Darling as she strikes out in an attempt to rescue her brother Michael from the clutches of the evil Peter Pan. Along the way, she meets Tinkerbell, who in this twisted version of the story will be seen taking heroin, convinced that it's pixie dust. The article also notes that the production company behind the Blood and Honey films, Jagged Edge Productions, is being sold by ITN Studios. So that's interesting, because considering that they're making all these bigger films, they're selling the production company. But obviously they're taking the the super adult approach, like for Tinkerbell to be on drugs and stuff like that, like
well. I mean, they're really making it twisted.
Yeah, that's the goal, right? Is to twist this thing up and make it super crazy.
But I like this poster though. Like, there's a lot going on in this poster. Like,
yeah, there is quite a bit.
All kinds of weird looking stuff. I see a lot of balloons. I think they're like a fair or something. Maybe it looks like because I see clowns.
Yeah,
and
I see clowns and stuff at the bottom.
It looks really interesting. I'm interested to see this one for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see how this will come together. Like I said, if it's anything like Blood and Honey 2, we'll be there for it, because that movie was a good time.
Yeah.
At the movies for horror. Did they put a release date in this thing?
No, I don't think so.
Is it a 2024?
It doesn't say.
Okay, yeah, it's not saying, y'all. So,
but it's in post production. I know it doesn't say that. So.
Okay. Yeah, it's not saying if it's coming out this year or not. But I'll tell you right now, we'll definitely be on the lookout for this one. Again, like I said, we're fans of Blood and Honey 2. But y'all let us know, how are you feeling about this new Pooniverse film? How do you like the poster? It's Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. Obviously, they're going to make it super twisted. Tinkerbell on drugs and stuff like that, calling it pixie dust. You know what I'm saying? Let us know, what are your thoughts on this? Are you excited to see it? And did you like Blood and Honey 2? Because some people didn't like it, but we thought it was a lot of fun. So drop all that in the comments, the chat. And if you're on Spotify, you can put in your thoughts in that little Q&A section. So feel free to do that too. All right. This is our last story coming up here, y'all. And this is honestly like just a super dope kind of special story here. And it's all about Robert Englund and John Carpenter getting stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. This is just super dope. We got two just mega iconic horror legends.
I would have thought John Carpenter already had a star, so to hear that he's getting one is like kind of surprising.
You know what? And you're not wrong, because I would have thought the same thing too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're finally getting their recognition on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. They're getting their stars, and this is just we want to just mention it because it's a heartwarming story to see people who have, influenced entire franchises and influenced entire generations, marked their stamp on horror that now people, are inspired by, imitate, whatever you want to say. So to have such a massive impact on an industry like they are, and a genre, they're deserving of that level of recognition. So this is just really cool because, because we talked about this when we did Nikki's stream yesterday, but, typically we see that horror doesn't get that like award level of recognition. Like, it gets continually ignored at the Academy Awards, and just we got to put on our own award shows, to get some sort of recognition, but we don't get, we really don't get a seat at the table when it comes to the Hollywood level recognition with the Oscars and things like that, Emmys, whatever the case may be. And I feel like this is the kind of thing that you want to see to help, ensure that we are getting that seat at the table. That, these performers and audio engineers, stuff like that, are, because horror movies have all these things in there, from audio to the performances to the cinematography, where they are deserving of, at least getting nominated in these, award shows. So this is just cool. Is there anything you wanted to add to this one?
Well, I just thought that his little tweet was funny. Robert Englund said, woke up this morning to discover I'm in great company in the Hollywood Walk of Fame class of 2025. Just to hear my name mentioned alongside Jane Fonda and Prince makes my heart go pitter-pat.
That was a good little.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah, definitely, that was a good little thing there. But yeah, that's just a dope story, and so congratulations to them getting that very deserving star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. These are two horror legends who have brought us incredible pieces of work, and I would love to see them involved with even more stuff currently today. Absolutely, yep. But that, y'all, is our last horror news topic. Like I said, there wasn't a whole lot of like major stuff from this week. It was a very light week on horror related news, but we still had some things to speculate about, theorize about, and look forward to in the future. Did you have any like housekeeping things that you wanted to bring up?
I can't think of anything.
Because I know you had posted that one poll in the community tab about trivia.
Oh yeah, I haven't even checked the status of that, but yeah, you can talk about that.
Okay, so we don't know how we're gonna do it just yet, but we're playing around with the idea of doing some sort of like trivia live game show on stream live on the YouTube platform. We're going to figure out the workings of it, but we're just trying to see if people were interested in being a part of it and being a contestant in it. We did a poll on YouTube. I don't know how many votes it got, but I do know that it was leaning heavily on the definitely would want to do this side. But I'm just kind of talking about it here just to make sure that everyone has a chance to see that poll and then offer any input if they'd want to participate and be a part of something like a horror community trivia thing live. So something we're toying around with. So drop in the comments if that's something that you'd be interested in. We do want to do another horror watch along for the summer. Maybe we could try to do that here coming pretty soon and within the next week or so. We haven't like put out a poll for what that movie would be, but if you got an idea for what you want our next summer watch along to be, drop that in the comments too of what you like to see us watch. We'll try to put together a poll and get that out there as well. Our last horror watch along was The Cabin in the Woods, and that was a lot of fun. We had a lot of people in there checking it out with us. Even people watching the replay. So go check that out to see like how we do it. It's it's just fun to get together with the community and watch something live and react to it and commentate on it. It's just a good time. So check out that so you can see our format and let us know what you'd want to see us watch next. We're trying to stick with the summer theme for these horror movies. So that's why we chose Cabin in the Woods. And there's a lot of other options to choose from. You can look at our last poll, like Midsommar, Wrong Turn, and stuff like that you can go and check out. Other stuff upcoming. I don't know if we're going to do a episode review or not on this, but we did watch the latest Evil episode. So maybe in the next couple of days we could do something like that once we find the time to do it, talking about Evil. But yeah, that's it for this live horror news discussion.
And if you're watching Interview with the Vampire, tonight is the finale.
Oh, there you go.
I'm so sad, but we've come to the end, and I do plan to talk about that once it's over. But yeah, that's the end. But we got renewed for season 3, so that's dope news as well. So yeah, we get another season of that, and they're obviously expanding the universe too. So I'm super excited about that. Nice,
dope. I know there's quite a few fans out there like yourself. So hey, I'm always hyped for fans to get their show renewed because I've seen so many shows get canceled.
Get the X.
It's almost scary to start a new show. You be like, damn, like is this gonna survive? Just getting kicked off these platforms. But yeah, so that's coming too, y'all. But hey, look, if you were live with us, thanks for joining us live.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Mike. Thank Critic After Dark. Thank Anthony. Thank Nonstop Horror. You guys are amazing. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in.
If you didn't comment in the chat, thank you also for tuning in.
Yep. And if you're watching on the replay, listening over on Spotify, Apple, thanks for listening, supporting us over there. We appreciate that as well. And we do this every Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Yeah, no.
12 p.m. is right.
9 a.m. Pacific. So you can join us live if you want to, contribute to the conversation. But if not, that's cool. We can watch replay. We still appreciate it all the same.
Yeah.
Hey, this has been In Love with Horror, and we'll see you on the next one. We out. Peace.